but I do know that if you are fully invested in dollars and this stuff goes down, you're destined to go broke. And I also will tell you that I've never seen the demand for precious metals even remotely close to what I'm seeing right now, ever in 34 years. Not even close, not by a million miles. And I will stick to what I've been saying for the past 2 years. This market will define itself by the inability to source product when the music stops. And I mean that 100%. Take from that what you will. If you want to think I'm talking my book, that's fine. I am through debating it. I will just simply tell you that I've never seen anything like this. And this is with only a little bit of the public waking up. But then you throw into the mix the states that are waking up a lot of people all of a sudden: Missouri, Alaska, Texas, Idaho, Wyoming, Mississippi, Kansas. These states are not only allowing metals to be part of the state treasury, but are allowing metals to be used in all debts, public and private. How long before people wake up to this? And God bless these states and their representatives for standing up to the horrible monetary and fiscal policy that is ruining the value of our dollars. So yeah, I think this is going to get crazier and crazier and crazier in this industry. And I've been begging people to look at this environment as the best we've seen in a long time for availability and premium. And that's disappearing now too. Things are starting to go bye-bye again, and premiums will go higher. If this environment continues, you will see by the third quarter, premiums higher than they were for the last 3 years, and availability much worse than it was for the last 3 years. That would be my prediction. Everything that I've been saying, like the little boy who's cried wolf on your show for 2 years, there won't be any product. And if it is, it'll be huge premiums and big delivery delays. Look, it's not just North America. I mean, you got the whole world waking up to inflation and to geopolitical issues and to change and war. And it's not just here. For example, the Royal Canadian Mint just came out and told all of us dealers that they made a big mistake and that they have overcommitted. We received a fraction of the allocation just the other day that we were supposed to receive. They actually went as far to say it will be months before they're able to catch up. The Austrian Mint is now on allocation. So, things are going to way slow down. So you got 2 of the 6 mints that are either on allocation or major backup for weeks or months by their own admission. And then you throw in the US Mint, which is the model of inefficiency. You have 2.5 of the 6 major mints of the world basically running on one cylinder. And what does that mean? Well, you got the UK, the South African Mint, and the Australian Mint. The Australian Mint's had its own problems. Do you see how this can spiral out of control very fast? I sure do. And I don't know what people are waiting for. I mean, I don't. I just, at this point, if you're already seeing cracks in the supply chain on the Royal Canadian Mint and the Austrian Mint, both on allocation, and the Canadian Mint saying we made a mistake, it's going to take us months to catch up, you may have to refund people's money. They said that. And then you throw in the US Mint, who can't produce enough Silver Eagles to, knock themselves out of a wet paper bag. This is becoming a problem. And I hope people understand that. And this is with just a very small fraction of people waking up. Everything I've ever said on your show regarding supply centers around that moment that I see coming. I don't know exactly what it looks like, but that moment is when the people who have laughed at us gold holders, when the financial advisors I play golf with down here in Florida, the only thing they ever say to me about gold is, why hasn't it gone higher in this environment? When they come to me and say, my God, I should have listened to you. How do I get gold to my clients? What can you help me with? Or for myself first? Then that'll be the moment when supply is gone, because it's this hard to keep stuff coming in and out with a 0.5% or 0.75% allocation across the whole financial matrix, as we've talked about many times on your show, courtesy of Rick Rule. What happens when it's 10%? Just a lowly 10%. Well, that's a 20-fold increase. It's over. And that's what I hope people understand. So either this is important enough to you to get off the couch and do something about it, or it's not. And if you think you can wait and time this, I would say you probably aren't going to. And then you're not going to get a good value, and you're going to have to wait, and you're going to pay huge premiums. And then the Canadian Mint comes out and says, oh, sorry, we overcommitted, and you're only going to get a fraction of what we promised. You may have to refund people's money, or they're going to have to wait months. That's not what you want to hear when you're frightened. So that's what we're facing right now. What happens when it really gets scary? Hopefully it doesn't. Something tells me it's going to. And I don't know how to answer that any more honestly than I just did. Because I want people to remember that I've been doing this for over 30 years when nobody wanted gold and silver. Nobody. And I still stuck with it. And I've had one career my whole life, and this is it. And anything I've ever done up until now has not prepared me to understand or accept. I take that back. I do understand and I do accept it, but nothing has prepared me for what I'm seeing right now. I mean, other than having to work ridiculous hours and nonstop customer service and taking orders and talking to my clients and studying and doing these shows to the point where I sleep 4 hours a night at most. And I know in my heart that I can't keep this up forever, but I also know that I have to until I can't. Because this is it. I think this is one of the last trains out. And I hope I'm wrong. I really do. I don't think I am. I think we're getting close to that moment where if you are not prepared and have not mitigated your exposure to this system, he or she who loses least wins. And that's what I think we're heading. One of the things that I think has not gotten enough attention in the mainstream media, and it's funny, all of a sudden they're talking about the BRICS and they're talking about these alignments as if they're onto something new. And you and I have been discussing this at length for at least 2 years. But I think the things that are not getting enough attention in the mainstream are events like Iran and Iraq, currently in the final stages of the first rail connection between the two countries in history. This is a deal brokered, of course, by China. Or how about the fact that China brokered the Iran-Saudi Arabia peace negotiations, where they're now putting embassies in each other's countries. These are Sunni and Shiite facts that have hated each other for years, centuries, and now they are putting their differences behind them in mutual cooperation. And that is exactly what China is doing to undermine the Western hegemony. And they're going into all of these countries and they're building ports and railways and bridges, and they're building refineries and helping build mines, and they're industrializing these countries and giving them the opportunity to embrace a better life, to have a middle class, to become industrialized and realize the things that they haven't been able to do instead of being exploited by the West. And this is all about mutual beneficial agreements, and that is what really is concerning, I think, if you look at this from the Western side of the table, where you have all of the dollar demand that has been fostered by it being the settlement currency for almost all of these transactions, and now these deals are being struck with other currencies. And in particular, when you look at what's happened with Kenya, they just struck a deal with Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates to buy oil in Kenyan shillings instead of US dollars. So I think what I'll try to do here is share my screen with you and show you this. This is a speech by the Kenyan president talking about what's going to happen in the next few weeks. I think people need to listen to this very, very intently.
For the people who work numbers, I am giving you free advice that those of you who are holding dollars, you surely might go into losses. You better do what you must do, because this market is going to be different in a couple of weeks.
That's really what I wanted you to hear. I mean, not only did they strike a deal to sell their oil, or to buy oil rather, from Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates in Kenyan shillings and not in dollars. The president is telling their people that something's going to be very different in the next few weeks and to get out of dollars. Now, I don't know what that means, but this is what I have been talking about for a very long time, the global de-dollarization. And it's accelerating. And it's accelerating at a pace that, I think is very concerning when everyone is focused on what's going on here with the banking problems and with the left trying to indict former President Trump. They're missing what is happening, which is a global change where Xi Jinping whispers into the ear of Putin saying, hey, we are at the forefront of 100-year change right here, and we're driving the ship. This was reported by media just the other day, and he means it, and it's happening. This is their one opportunity.